Okay, so on Monday, Tom Perriello announced that he wants his old job back. He's running for the 5th district. What was your immediate reaction to that, and where does your campaign stand now?
Sure. We started this race officially about 6 months ago. Unofficially, I was out there meeting people and having these conversations to prepare for this for over a year. Um, it is not lost on me that the dynamics are changing because it looks like the General Assembly is going to move forward with redistricting. That means the seat under our feet is going to become likely Democratic leaning. I think we knew when this looked like it was going to happen, we knew that that was going to bring new faces into the race. I am not surprised and I don't begrudge a politician making a political decision. It's not surprising to hear Tom Perriello jumping in. But here's the thing, right? I got in this race when it was hard. I got in this race because I was mad. I was mad at a government that felt like it was not engaging with the crisis of inequality and unfairness that people, working class people, rural people face every single day. And I was mad at a Democratic Party. I was mad at a Democratic Party that was not engaging with that problem. And that also, I was here during 2024. I watched that election. I fought in that election alongside Gloria Witt, alongside Kamala Harris. And I saw a party that I felt like didn't know what it believed, wasn't telling people what it believed, a party that was running the same playbook, the same message, a party that was running the same people. And I felt angry about that. I felt that people saw a broken Democratic Party and wanted something new. And when I've talked to people across this district over the past year, everyone I've talked to has agreed with that. We are sick and tired of a broken Democratic Party. We are sick and tired of the same playbook. We are we are tired and we need a new voice and some new leadership and some fresh ideas in there. That's why I ran. That's why I ran knowing what the fifth district looked like, knowing frankly that I might get my butt whooped, right? Because people need something to believe in. People need someone to be out there and fight for them. People need someone to give them hope, to draw a picture of a future that we can build together that might be possible. I've been out there doing that since the day one in this election. And so I'm glad that Tom has found the opportunity to join me here.
Will anything change about your campaigning strategy in the Democratic primary now that Perriello, who has held this position before and is pretty well financed, is in the race against you, at least at first?
Yeah, my opponent is still John McGuire, and that's not going to change. Um, I I am excited to run the race that we have to run. I think there's some serious contrasts between myself and Tom Perriello. Right, we're both people who have committed our lives to service to our communities, but that's looked a little different, right? I grew up in a working class family in Appalachia. I My opportunity for service meant going back into the closet at age 17 to serve our military under Don't Ask, Don't Tell. That was hard. That required sacrifice. That's where my path to service began. That was the same year that Tom Perriello got elected to Congress by a margin of about 700 votes. There is a distinction there, and I think we're different people. I think we also have a different message and a different theory of the case. And I frankly think voters will find that there's a lot of policy distinctions that really matter in this race, a lot of record positions that really matter in this race. I think my message resonates, and the message that we've been running resonates with this district. I think that's why we, frankly, have a stronger campaign than any challenger has ever had at this stage in this election. And that includes Tom Perriello. We have raised more than Tom raised at this stage in 2007. We have outraised the incumbent, John McGuire. And, that's some inside baseball stuff, but that is not normal. It is not normal that a challenger, especially a challenger in a district that isn't on anyone's race, it's not normal that a challenger in a race outraise the opponent. And that's what we're doing. I think I think that speaks to the fire that people have about this election, the fire that people have about the opportunity and the vision that I'm bringing to this party.
Thank you for that answer. And I think as we move forward in the Democratic primary, voters are going to want to know what the distinctions are between you and any other Democrat who is running. And I know you mentioned that there are policy distinctions between you and Perriello. Would you mind just elaborating on what you think a couple of those are?
The fifth district is a right-leaning district, and Tom Perriello, the first thing anyone will tell you about him, the first thing I know a lot of people at his launch event shared about him was that he voted for the ACA, and he's seen as a hero for being a deciding vote on that. That's great, but it was a hard vote for him. He has defined himself by conviction politics, by standing by hard votes. Tom Perriello took a lot of votes that I think he thought represented his district during 2010, 2011. And a lot of those votes are very distinct from, I think, what this community needs and wants now. I will be interested to see if he stands by those. I have stood by every hard statement I've had to make in my life. I serve a pretty right-leaning district. It's purple, but one of the harder districts here in Albemarle County. And when I jumped in the race, there was also a race going on for school board. One of the first things I did was weigh in on the importance of standing up for trans kids in our schools. That was a hard position. That's something that so many consultants, so many Beltway people, so many people in this community who might believe in supporting trans kids, but also want to see a Democrat who can win this seat, have said, hey, Mike, cut tackle with this community. It's dragging you down. And I haven't. That's what conviction politics looks like. The healthcare is important for our community. I believe that, frankly, a single payer healthcare system is critical. Everyone in my family has struggled with addiction. I struggled with addiction, and I've been sober for now. I'm almost on my 10 year journey of sobriety. And that is because when I fell on hard times, I had socialized medicine. I was in the U.S. Navy, and I was able to get immediate treatment. My brother didn't have those opportunities afforded to him. My brother struggled with addiction through a part of his life. He ultimately contracted a disease that ultimately took his life. I think a single payer healthcare system is a critical thing that we need to move toward in this country. And it's something that I know Tom has not stood for in the past.
Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. So I have to run at 11:30 to get to a meeting that I'm covering today, but I just wanted to see if there was anything else you wanted to add. Particularly, this is a local broadcast, so it'll be going out to a lot of the people you currently represent in Albemarle County. Do you have any other things you would like to say to them about what they can expect from your campaign moving forward?
Yeah, I am always going to be a straight shooter. I am always going to stand up for this community. I'm always going to put the interests of working class people first. I think people have seen that from me on the board, and they will continue to see that from me on this campaign and then in Congress.
Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and end the recording.